Pompey Sound, your hourly update from Fratton Park, sponsored by Piglet's Pantry, the home of award-winning and handmade food on the South Coast.
Here is a roundup of the latest from the rumour mill, beginning with the story which is circulating that Matt Ritchie is on his way out of Fratton Park. It's being said that the veteran attacking midfielder, who is believed to have another year on his contract, has received indications that he may have limited game time in the coming season, and has been given permission to look to ply his trade elsewhere. Elsewhere, it's being reported that Pompey's chase for the signature of Silkeborg midfielder Pelle Madsen could be over one way or another at an earlier date than was first anticipated. The Danish Super League side's sporting director Jesper Stuker is said to have done a U-turn over Madsen being unavailable until after the club's Europa Conference League draw against Icelandic side KA. That draw could run until the end of August, but there seem to be indications that Silkeborg have had a change of mind in order to guarantee themselves a hefty transfer fee for their star. Madsen is valued at anything up to £2 million.
Matt Ritchie first. This is only a rumour and we've only seen it on social media, but two of our correspondents have semi-confirmed it, so let's proceed with it being the case, as we had some information from the club clandestinely that Ritchie was one of the names of the players who were being let go, along with Yengi and Sadie and so forth. However, Ritchie's availability wasn't announced at the time. What can we read into it? First thing is to say thank you, because he did a great job for us, didn't he? He did a fantastic job for us, and he was inspirational. The way he played the game, with the skill and the grace and the intelligence that he's always brought, but the enthusiasm and the stamina, the legwork, the sheer determination to get the ball back. He plays the pressing game. Nobody plays it better. Let's put it like that. So thanks to him for all of the fish, as we always say. But the fact that he may now be being let go indicates that Pompey may be closing in on, or have almost done a deal with, a player who is not unlike Ritchie, who does what Ritchie does, but isn't nearer to 40 years of age than 30, which is obviously an increasing impediment. So, Ritchie on his way, but with our humblest thanks. As for Madsen, if they have changed their mind, and Stuker, the sporting director of the club he's at, who've got this important Europa League match coming up, recognises that if he holds out against getting a transfer fee in for his star until the end of August, they might miss out. Because clubs, Pompey for one, there are others, might decide they're not going to hang on that long. They want to start making plans. They want to know what they're doing. They want to know who's coming. We can control who's going, but we can't control who's coming. And we want to control who's coming. And we don't want to have to wait until August, when there might be a real bun fight for this guy Madsen, if he's half as good as everybody says he is. We don't want that, so this works in our favour. We could know one way or the other whether he's coming to us, or whether he is going to, and he's €2 million euros. I think they said pounds in the piece, but I think it's euros. €2 million being less than £2 million. If he is coming, then we're going to know sooner or later. And if he's not coming, we're going to know sooner rather than later, which is good news, because planning is everything. More rumours. We love them, but health warning, they are only rumours, and some of them barely rumours at that.
Portsmouth boss John Messino has denied rumours that Pompey are interested in striker Grady Dengana, but has hinted that there will be a new addition arriving, quote, really soon, unquote, as he and the recruitment team continue their search for new players to take them into the coming season. About Dengana, who went to the Hawthorns for $12 million with a $6 million in add-ons and becomes a free agent this summer, Rangers are said to be keen. Messino has said simply there's nothing in this, he's had no contact at all from any of us. It's being said in and around the training ground in Slovakia that there won't be any new additions joining before they return to England tomorrow, but Messino, though tight-lipped, has not denied that a done deal is close. Saying simply it's going well, before adding it's one where we have to get the right balance between bringing in the right players at the right time. Other rumours abound, many of which are entirely unsubstantiated, but make for titillating listening. There's a school of thought that there may be a change of mind at West Ham, and that Freddie Potts may be available for another year's loan. There's also been speculation that Adrian Sajetchik's complimentary comments and publicly known closest association with Alex Robertson could possibly be the beginnings of negotiations to see if he can return. And in other places, some dreamers are continuing to bang the drum for Gosport-born John Swift to make a homecoming when his time runs out, at West Brom, which it shortly will. This one seems unlikely due to the fact that Swift is believed to have received some more lucrative offers from wealthy clubs in all four corners of the world and would be happy to move abroad in order to finish lining his nest.
So we don't want to be a killjoy, but a player who could be valued at 18 million, depending on add-ons, is going to be out of our financial league, almost certainly, unless his price has absolutely plummeted since he's been at West Brom. But then Rangers are no mugs when it comes to picking up what they consider to be bargains. They might be getting him for 5 or 6 or 7, but that's money that largely goes into his pocket because he's a free agent, and therefore any monies that change hands when he changes clubs will be payments to him. That's how it works nowadays. Have Pompey got that kind of money to, what, you could say bribe the bloke? No, and we won't do that for a bunch of reasons. Now, Freddie Potts is an interesting one because this has been partially substantiated, or at least not completely rubbished, by the recruitment team, well, to be precise, John Messina himself. And I guess what he's saying is that should Potts become available, well, then definitely we would be interested as a loan player. And of course he would say that because he would want Potts back. He was that impressive. He was that valuable towards the top of the table championship player. There's no doubt about that. Borderline Premier League. So of course if he becomes available, he'll be one of our loan players. But it does seem increasingly unlikely for a whole variety of reasons. But I don't want to poo-poo that one, but there's a poo-poo. The John Swift thing, which rumbles on, he hasn't found a new home yet. He has his people, unquestionably, talking to everybody who might be able to stump up the kind of cash that he wants. Remember, he was an extremely paid and well-played player over the last year or two, and he's going to want to maintain that kind of income, or at least come close to that kind of income, which is something that Matt Ritchie will have attempted to do when he came down from the Premier League into the Championship with Pompey. He would have negotiated as close as he could to the no doubt eye-watering salary that he was on at Newcastle. We wouldn't have matched that, but nevertheless, he would have taken a big chunk of those salaries that are going out to all of our players are on good salaries now, because we've moved up, haven't we? We've moved up a tier. Everything ratchets up, including the players' salary, their valuation on the transfer market, but also their salary. So we probably won't be able to afford John Swift at 30. He's got plenty of miles left on the clock, and we know what a competent and authentic professional footballer he is. But being a professional, he's partly in it for the money, and if they can pay him a sight more than we could, if he went to go somewhere, for example, to one of the Arab countries where football is being hugely supported by government and royalty, and they could very easily write cheques to him with the number of noughts on it that we've never even seen at Fratton Park. So he's very unlikely to be coming back, but hey, it's nice to dream. The other one, though, is Alex Robertson. And this is, just like Freddie Potts, a nice dream. Because if we decided that we are going to lump together all the money that we were thinking of spending on 4 or 5 different players and bringing them in at $500,000 here and $750,000 there, and if we were to lump all that together and come up with, 3, 4, this is pure speculation, with add-ons 5, and bring Robertson back to Fratton Park and partner him with Freddie Potts, I mean, it's a daydream, but it's a hell of a team.
Until yesterday, it had only been a rumour that Riley Towler was set to leave the club. Consequently, when it happened, it came as no surprise to anybody. Towler, in his 2 years at Fratton Park, carved himself out a real niche identity, as a central defender with elegance and panache among his weapons. But it became apparent after the first 10 games of last season that John Messina wanted something other than those qualities that were eventually presented in abundance by Rob Atkinson. It's been reported in the Lincoln press that Towler is a very versatile defender and can pass and has played not only as a left-sided centre-back, but as a full-blown left-back and accredited central midfielder. Versatility in a player is one of the credentials that John Messino is becoming famous for seeking out. But it seems there has to be a bit more than merely being versatile that enables a player to be trusted in playing more than one position. Our contacts at Lincoln tell us that Towler has already shifted a great many season tickets and plenty of merchandise at his new club, where he is already beginning to build the niche following that he achieved at Fratton Park.
When a player moves on, it's a universal football fan's reaction to him moving on, that if he is moving onwards and upwards and going to a higher placed club, a more prestigious club, we feel a certain amount of pride that one of our own has been plucked and possibly has a shining future. But we're also rather saddened because it sort of puts us in our place. We are not as good as that club that can afford to spend that money and attract that player away. I think there was an element of that when Kamara chose Hull, and Robertson chose Cardiff. There was a feeling that they were saying that Hull and Cardiff have better prospects than Pompey, are bigger clubs than Pompey. They've certainly got more money than Pompey. And there are plenty of fans who didn't like that, particularly in the case of Robertson. And I've seen quite a bit on social media with some of these people saying that he shouldn't be allowed back because he rejected us. Well, look, this is football. It's not romance, folks. But anyway, when a player leaves Pompey or your club, whatever your club is, when a player leaves your club and steps down a tier, drops down a tier or maybe two, then we, first of all, are not likely to be harmed by that player coming back and turning us over, because we are now in separate divisions, and at the earliest we won't be facing Towler on the pitch until next year. And if it happens, it hopefully happens because Lincoln have gone up rather than the unspeakable has happened to us. So we don't have any fears on that score. We want him to do well, I think, because A, he was a very popular player, but B, it reflects on us. If we can easily let go our, let's face it, fifth choice central defender, and he walks into the Lincoln side, and Lincoln are a very solid top bit of the mid-table League One side, and they very easily could threaten a playoff position next season. And if a player who we haven't got room for at Pompey walks into the Lincoln first team and makes the place his own, and place in the team his own, and makes the place, the ground, rock with admiration and respect, then we'll feel that that reflects well on us. That we are as good a club as we believe we are, and we are as strong a squad as we believe we are. So we keep an eye out for those sorts of things when a player moves on, but we don't keep it alive in our minds for too long. But how many other links now between Pompey and Lincoln? It's getting a little bit. If this was EastEnders, it would be a scandal.